Well, good morning, friends. My name's Clint. Thanks for joining us today for morning devotions. Today, we're coming to you from Casey LaCour's office. This is a pretty nice space. But this morning, we're going to continue on in the book of Philippians. We're going to be in chapter 4, verses 1, 2, and 3. And what I really love about these verses is they can be really easy to skip. I mean, you're getting close to the end of the book. Colossians is right around the corner, but instead of looking at this verse like it's a throwaway verse, if we press in, we can find some really valuable stuff here. So it's once again, we're in chapter 4, verses 1, 2, and 3. The Apostle Paul, he writes and says, "Therefore, my brothers and sisters, you who I love and long for, my joy and my crown, stand firm in the Lord in this way, dear friends. I plead with Euodia and I plead with Syntyche to be of the same mind in the Lord. Yes, and I ask you, my true companion, help these women, since they have contended at my side in the cause of the gospel, along with Clement and the rest of my co-workers, whose names are in the book of life." Now, the first thing that I think that is so cool about this passage is it shows us that the people in Scripture, the people in the Bible, are normal, everyday people with the same problems that you and I have. I remember when I was a kid, I used to think the Bible was full of perfect people who never did anything wrong, who never sinned, who never got mad or got into fights with each other. And this just shows us that that's not true. These two women, Euodia and Syntyche, that's a really fun name, isn't it? Syntyche. They were in conflict. They had a disagreement of some sort. We don't know the nature of the disagreement, but it was big enough where the Apostle Paul wrote about it in this letter, and he encouraged them to pursue unity, to become of one mind. And I think that one of the things that we can learn from this is conflict is unavoidable. It's part of normal everyday life. No matter what we do, we're going to run into conflict. We don't me wrong, we can pick fights, but sometimes conflict just comes our way. But as followers of Jesus, we get to choose how we're going to respond. And so I just wonder, how do you respond to conflict? Are you one of the types of people that are kind of like me and just tries to avoid conflict? Oh, nothing's wrong. That's not a big deal. I'll just pray about it and let it go, and never really press into conflict resolution. Or maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum, and when a conflict comes up in your life, you have to be right. You're just going to steamroll the other person. You're going to fight and prove that your side is the right side. But what we see the Apostle Paul do here is he pleads for unity. He pleads for conflict resolution. He doesn't tell one side or the other that they're right or wrong. Rather, he calls for unity. And as followers of Jesus, we should get really good at conflict resolution, at pressing into our differences, working together for the greater good. So I wonder what that looks like for you this week. When you find yourself in conflict, because I bet it'll even happen today, but as you find yourself in conflict, what would it look like to invite Jesus into the middle of that conflict? To not shy away from it or steamroll it, but rather embrace it as a way to, first and foremost, bring ourselves closer to Jesus by practicing unity, by practicing the things that we see in the Scripture, but also by bringing unity. Like we can press into our relationships through conflict resolution. And when we do that, it's beautiful. So what does that look like for you this week? And how are you going to invite the Spirit of God to help you? Thank you so much for watching. Join me again tomorrow as we dive even farther into this passage. Have a wonderful rest of the day.